السلام عليكم همين فيل هكذا هذا برنامج كم مرة عالم كورك كجرم ولي باكم لها وير اللي قدك سيد بابور نوع حمول كأي ولي بالله هذا وكوي كليدين الإسرائيليين تكسوهم إسرائيليين تسكرتيو اللي جيرسي وير كان ولي باك أما وضعهم خلطون قفوت يدون الترند تاسيك بدنا كداوع من برنامج كسين هاينا أفرس كريه اللي كديل كمية أفكار كلام هو كداوع وير حسب الله يغاد إسرائيل برنامج كا يحسين كوجود بيانا قضبة كلام السين هاي ولي لها إيران الصومالية حرير سوريا اللي وعلن هجا جاية يدو دولة الصومالية كحماتي وير قردرة إسرائيل كذا هاي إيران برنامج كي يحسين كوجود بيانا كوحدة RSF تا السودان وليبا مدرسة دمانا إيه كدلي بقول لباتيا فرقفو الريدة لما بقول كلنا كداوع عدي وير يقطعن قبل كجازيرة برنامج يحسين كوجود بيانا قضبة كلام السين هاي وليبا كمدها اللي هدي كو أسكري وإسرائيليين يلا كداوع الدجال ذيك بيان حد كل لبنان لباتيا فرد ساعة الله في برنامج يا سينكاين وكالة ورركا AB وليبا يا كورنتا إن شبكة أما شركة مايكروسوفت شقة كسارتي لما كمدة شغالة أو مركزيتي كمدة هرادين تكنولوجيا ودتك فلسطينيين تيو دتك غزة كنول إسرائيلية كدوقة يهي شركة بيدي برامجك يهسين قد بيانا تمن كمدة عيدا كإيران يوليبا لكدلي ويرر كدي مقالة تيتان كونفورت بريء إيران وضبطاسي ورركا ليا سينكاين برنامجك مرو عالمك ورتالك أرلادي همين فايلة برنامجka muro caalamka la darartana tuman askari oo kumida ciidanka Iran iyo waliba la kadilay weerarka dhig magaalada Tehran waa Tiftaan ee koonfurta bari ee Iran kuleed markii kooxolan garna waa Longorna wali iyo markaasaytii weerarta kolonyo ka tirsan ciidanka xuduudda Iran ee kool galaan dhinaca xadka Pakistan sidii ha ku warantii warbaahinta Iran ilaa iyo hadda ma jarta waa qof sheegay mas'uuliyadda weerarka shirkadda Microsoft waliba iyo تكنولوجيا سياسة إسرائيل سيان كدوقة غزة يدور فلسطينيين وكالة ورركا AB ولبا يحكورنتا إن لما كمل السراكيش شركة الشاقة لانكبوري كوريد مركيو كمود هرادين تكنولوجيا هي شركة كجد إسرائيل يفرض يتحسوق لكجيس هي غزة اللي هذه كو عسكري أو إسرائيليين يكداو عن التجارة كديان حد كل لبنان لباتي أفرت ساعة الأهدافي صدي الشكل الجزيرة وهي ذاسة هذا اللي يحصارين عيدا كإسرائيل برنامجka wili la darartan kooxda RSF ta Suudaan weerari wadan waliba iyo 8 maalmood dhaaf dileen 124 qofood riide 200 kalan dhaawaceen kureed weerarayo ka qaadan gobolka Gaasira iyo war markaasii maalin gudaashan waa 50 qof ka dileen deegaanka Al-Seeraha ee gobolka tirsan waliba kala markaasii meelaasi ka jeesidana dhac iyo burbur xoog leh iyo ka jeesideen deegaanada ka yaalan gobolka Gaasira sidii ah warantii wakaalada wararka AFP dagaalkii gobolka Kuwait RSF oo kii ka dhamasho badan ay waqti kooban la sheegay muddada 8 iyo 10 bilood dagaalku soo dareeray waliba Suudaan hadda la sheegay dalka arxan darada inuu ku fuliyaan RSF siyonka argoosadan taliyaasho waa taliye iyo ka tirsanay iyo markaasidka maamulay bariga Gaasira wana la kama dhawaay abwagla kaykal oo haddan goosi dhiniga militariga Suudaan sida telefishinka Al Jazeera higidi siyaasiga Suudaaniga ee Amgad Faariyad barnaamijka muro caalamka ee Warteelka Arlaadi iyo wali la darartan weerar muuqda in la adeegsado baabuur nooca xamuulka ah iyo waliba la jirsay ama la dulmarsiyay waa Israa'iiliyiinta askartiyo oo ku sugan waqooyiga Tel Aviv oo la sheegay dhaawac ka dhalay inuu 8 iyo 15 kalena wajahan xaalad halis ah tiradan ka badan ay waa askar sidii sheegtay raadiyaha Israa'iil maadaama meel weerarkan ka dhigaytay xarun boolis oo ka taal aaga goolyood oo ka tirsan waqooyiga Tel Aviv barnaamijka muro caalamka la darartan Michelle Obama iyo waliba saaxir laangan taageertay Kamala Harris oo laasha doorashada xalay khudbad taariikhi ee jeediyay Michelle
she has demonstrated that she's ready. The real question is, as a country, Are we ready for this moment? Are we willing to do what it takes to get her across the finish line, or are we going to let ourselves get distracted and fall for the scam? Are we going to lose sight of the dire consequences if we come up short? And right now, folks, I have to be honest, I'm not completely sure of the answers to those questions. Y'all give me great comfort in this arena. But this is a big country, and that's why all of my hope about Kamala is also accompanied by some genuine fear. Fear for our country, fear for our children, fear for what is coming our way if we forget the stakes in this election. And y'all, that's why I'm here today. And y'all know I hate politics. But I hate to see folks taken advantage of even more. So I wanted to do everything in my power to remind the country that I love, that there's too much we stand to lose if we get this one wrong. I'm deeply concerned, and I'm talking to everybody out there, that too many of us are still confused and buying into the lies and distortions from people who do not have our best interest at heart. So I want to address some of these concerns head on. Because when you lay out the options, this choice isn't even close. But whether it's online or in the media or in our social circles, there are folks who say they're not sure about Kamala. They accuse her of not providing enough policy detail. Some wonder, do we really know her? Is she too aggressive? Is she not aggressive enough? There are folks sowing seeds of doubt about whether she's who she appears to be. Now, don't get me wrong. Voters have every right to ask hard questions of any candidate seeking office. But can someone tell me why we are once again holding Kamala to a higher standard than her opponent? We expect her to be intelligent and articulate, to have a clear set of policies, to never show too much anger, to prove time and time again that she belongs. But for Trump, we expect nothing at all. No understanding of policy, no ability to put together a coherent argument, no honesty, no decency, no morals. Instead, too many people are willing to write off his childish, mean-spirited antics by saying, well, Trump's just being Trump, rather than question his horrible behavior. Some folks think he's funny. And if you remember, that's exactly how he got elected the first time. Folks gave him a pass and rolled the dice, betting that he couldn't possibly be that bad. And then there were those folks who didn't think it really mattered who the president was, if you can believe that. And still others who thought it'd be a good idea just to blow up our entire democracy. Let us not forget how badly that worked out for all of us. Let us not forget the incompetence and the corruption, the chaos that was the cornerstone of his entire 4 years in office. Let's start with the pandemic. Remember how woefully unprepared he was? How he was sowing seeds of fear and confusion, endangering lives with his lies and ignorance, denigrating the doctors and scientists trying to help us. You want to talk about plans? Well, my husband left him a very detailed pandemic plan. And you know what he did? He ignored it. He had no clue how to get us out of that crisis. no ability to bring back the millions of jobs we lost so suddenly, no idea how to get our students back into school safely, no attempt to help stem the epidemic of loneliness and isolation that too many of our young people are still dealing with. And his failures had real cost. America lost 7 million more jobs during the COVID downturn than the European Union. Among wealthy nations, the United States had one of the highest COVID death rates. Again, all of this occurred with Trump in charge. And sadly, this was just the tragic exclamation point on his disastrous presidency. Installing judges and justices who have now stripped away our reproductive freedoms, cracking down on protesters marching to protect their sons from being shot because of the color of their skin, rolling back protections for LGBTQ Americans, fanning conspiracy theories, unleashing hatred in our communities. And then, when the American people fired him from a job that was too big for him to begin with, he tried to steal it, egging on a violent mob that breached our nation's capital. And when told that his own vice president was in danger, you know what he said? So what? So what, y'all? He said, so what? And after all of that, and there is more, there are still folks wringing their hands, crossing their arms, tuning out, saying they plan to sit this election out to prove a point? Well, let me tell you who isn't tuning out. Many of the folks who served closest to Trump and saw the danger firsthand. His former vice president, almost half of his former cabinet members, the growing list of four-star generals and Republican governors and senators and former House members, all of whom are not publicly supporting his candidacy the second time around. Y'all hear what I said? They are saying, no, thank you. Many are speaking out. His chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, for example, said, and these are his words, that Trump is fascist to the core. His Joint Chief of Staff. These folks know that nothing this man says or does is funny in any way. So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon, a known slumlord, a predator found liable for sexual abuse, all of this while we pick apart Kamala's answers from interviews that he doesn't even have the courage to do, y'all. So, I am praying that those of us contemplating voting for Trump or not voting at all will snap out of whatever fog we are in. I am praying that we consider the decades of sacrifice and struggle by all of our ancestors, the folks who marched and sacrificed.
waayahay guud ahaan wali baan tax ka afmeerana barnaamijkii Arimaha Caalamka ee Warteelka Arlaadi hamiin fayl